All right, we are live. Welcome back to the Bourbon Note, everybody. I'm Ben. We're drinking samples tonight on the live stream. Let's get into it. All right, hello everybody. People in the live chat, people watching this back on the rebroadcast. Who do we got here? Sugar Kitty is in the house. Piper John is here. Bobby. Bad Axe Bourbon in the house. What's going down, brother? All right, so Piper John, kind of the man of the hour here because I am drinking through some of the samples that you sent me. This is not to say that I won't do any reviews of these, like actual video reviews, but I was reading through, like I don't have a plan for tonight's live stream. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here. And I was reading through some of these, and you had said that you wanted to send me some stuff that I maybe hadn't had before or even heard of in some of these cases. So, excuse me, with you in the live chat, that'll work out because I may have some questions about some of these. But these should be really interesting. So I'm going to have a little bit of each one of these. Let me read off what we've got here. So again, these are from Piper Johns. Thank you, John. Wood Hat Spirits. I've never even heard of that before. Bourbon Rubenesque Single Barrel Bottled in Bond, 6-year. We've got Burnt Church Anita's Choice, 6-grain bourbon, 55 corn, 13 wheat, 10 Caroline Gold rice, and some of this got a little bit wiped off. So, and then some 5% rye, malted barley. So this should be interesting. 99 proof, 6-grain. I don't think I've ever had a 6-grain bourbon before. So looking forward to that one. Filibuster Triple Cask Straight Bourbon finished in apple brandy barrels. 115.1 proof. That's some liquor store pick. Was that? This one got kind of wiped a little bit too. And then we've got ASW Rebergens 100% malted rye double copper pot still. 86 proof. So let's put these in order here. So this is bottled in bond. Got 199. So there we go. This is going to be fun getting into these. So I do have just a quick control bourbon here. It's a little bit of tin cup. I needed something low proof to just kind of prep the palate, get rid of the dinner taste. Hey, pizza. Let me know in the chat what you guys are all sipping on before we get into this here. So Filibuster, I feel like, is a brand. I don't think I've heard of any of these other ones. Burnt Church Anita's Choice. Piper John, is that a ASW Resurgence Rye? Okay. Resurgence Rye. All right, so yeah, like I said, some of these got a little bit, the labels got a little distorted. So, Still Austin Cask Strength Rye. Nice. I have not had the Cask Strength Rye. Still Austin, if you guys, for those of you that watch regularly, you'll know that's one of the few Texas whiskeys that I like. But I don't think I've had their Cask Strength Rye. I think I've had their regular rye before. I don't know if I've had it on the channel. Burnt Church Distillery, South Carolina. Okay, sweet. Filibuster, I feel like I can recognize the label on that. Let me see if I can look this up real quick. See if it's the same thing I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah. I think I've seen this brand before, or at least heard of it. All right, sweet. Well, I'm looking forward to getting into these. I'm just going to finish up my control bourbon here. Anita's Choice is the name of the bourbon. Okay. ASW Resurgence. Burnt Church is the distillery, Anita's Choice. So 6-grain bourbon. That's just wild. Filibuster's Virginia. This worked out perfect because I was hoping you'd be in the chat tonight, John, to help me decipher some of these and give me a little bit more information. Hey, by the way, did you try those Jack Daniel's Tennessee Travelers yet? I'm especially interested now because Steven Scone over at Shelf Sippers did a review of the samples I sent him, and he was not a fan, actually. And he particularly wasn't a fan of the rye, which I was blown away by because I absolutely love that rye. But I don't really know a lot of other people who've had it. I sent a sample to the bakers over at Baker Drinks. They said they loved it. All right, let's get into some tasting here. Also, you guys, throw in some topics of discussion in the chat. Help me, help me keep this going tonight. Not tried them yet. Okay. Very interested in your take on that. I'm supposed to get my water in here. So I wonder if these are all... John, you're down in Florida, so I'm assuming you bought these locally. So we're doing the ASW Resurgence 100% malted rye double copper pot. I don't think I've seen... I think I've seen one of the Filibuster... I feel like Filibuster has a label that's available in Minnesota, unless I'm confusing that with something else. But I've never seen or heard of any of these other ones, so this is interesting. Northwest Bourbon, Mark, just hit the like button. It was free, 10 out of 10, would recommend. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Ooh. Boy, that's interesting. Malted rye. Who else thinks it's funny that KFC is moving their headquarters from Kentucky to Texas? I didn't know that was a thing. That is pretty funny, though. Got the Anita's Choice on a trip to Georgia. Unfortunately, not available here. Okay. So this ASW Resurgence definitely has an interesting note on the nose. Interesting kind of wood note.
That's what she said.
It's like a... There's almost like a late little bit of cedar kind of mixed in with those rye sweetness, that metallic vanilla. Not much spice, but it's the rye flavor is there, but it's not very spicy. 86 proof, but let's get into it. Cheers. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. A little different, a little chocolatey on the finish. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one. At 86 proof, too, it's got a decent amount of flavor. It's a nice rye. I like malted ryes. The cast strength is even better, but that one is hard to find. Okay. Now, I don't know how entertaining of a live stream it is for me to be drinking whiskeys that you guys probably can't get a hold of. But this is the type of stuff I watch on live streams sometimes, so, you know, why not? I had nothing else to talk about. So again, throw some topics of discussion in the chat if you fancy. And we can get a debate going. Piper John agrees with the chocolate. ASW is out of Atlanta. Yeah, there's definitely that chocolate note. It's almost like a... It's like chocolate, but it's not milk. Excuse me. I'm starting to get a little bit of a scratchy throat here. It's not milk chocolate or dark chocolate. It's almost like cocoa powder style chocolate. I brought up in a review one time those chocolate almonds you can get at Costco, I think. Or no, I think they're Blue Diamond. What's up, Jeff Castle? And they're not chocolate covered, but they're like chocolate dusted, like with like a dry rub. All right, good stuff. Good one to start with. A nice easy sipper. Kind of still preps the palate. I think that tin cup I was sipping on was like 86 proof, I believe, something like that. All right. Getting into the next one. This is the one that is the Anita's Choice. Is that the one you said, John, that you were super into? All right. See, it reminds me of Belgian chocolate, vague memory. Lived in Belgium from 74 to 76. Nice. Yes, Mark, I am hydrating here. You got to rinse the glass out to give these a fair. I'm just using one glass to go between them. I'm doing my best to shake any water droplets out so as to not affect the bourbon. Anita's Choice is fantastic. Okay, let me get this poured. So remember that I have to finish this before moving on to the next one. So, hey, by the way, you want to hear something I did not know? I had no idea that Michter's barrel strength rye was a single barrel. I mean, am I an idiot that I just missed this? Does it say single barrel on here? So I bought this at Total Wine a few months ago. And it says on the back in the description, this single barrel rye has been mellowed by our signature filtration. But it doesn't, I didn't read the back of the bottle after I bought it. But yeah, so I didn't realize this, and then non-bike riding Dave Vogelsang sent me some samples in 2 different sample packs. He included a Michter's barrel strength and then put the barrel number in there. So yeah, I did not realize that this was a single barrel. So I was going to do a flight of those, but I think I'll save that for a video. Anyway, did you guys know that that was a single barrel? Like, did I just miss that? Because I knew nothing about it when I bought it. Ooh, interesting nose on this one. Really rich, a nice light cinnamon. Cinnamon and caramel all day long. Some nice baking spices. Or maybe not baking spices, but baking like sweetness. Oh, like chocolate chip cookie dough. Like baking chocolate chip cookie dough. You get the brown sugar and the vanilla extract all mixed in there. Oh, man, this is really interesting on the nose. So before I get into the palate, Burnt Church is the distillery. Anita's Choice is the bourbon. It's a 6 grain. I'm going to try to read these off, but some of these got a little bit wiped off here. 55% corn, 13 wheat, 10 gold rice, some sort of gold rice. I can't read that because there's a smudge. 5% rye, 5% malted barley, and then there's one more that got smudged off. They're in Missouri. Okay, there's some good bourbon coming out of Missouri. Ben Holiday. I don't know. I think there's more. I can't think of any off the top of my head now. All right, let's get into the palate here. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Ooh. What is going on with this one? Hang on. Oat is the 6th grain. Okay. Man, that is, I got to pour a little bit more of this one. That's really good. Really different. Interesting, like Michter's Shelfer Rye non-barrel strength is a single barrel as well. I did not know that. I don't know a damn thing about Michter's. For whatever reason, it's just a brand that I have not followed closely. Because I've had their Shelfer products, most of them I think, and I like them. I just haven't really bought them and kept them on the shelf. And then everything else from them is like impossible to get. So I don't really, it's just kind of one of those ones that's fallen by the wayside. Okay, 55% corn, 13% wheat, 10% Carolina gold rice, 5% oat, 5% rye, 5% malted barley. And this one's available on Sealbox, okay. And at the 99 proof, it's got a bit of an odd, the only thing that I'm noticing that's a little weird about it is the mouthfeel.
That's what she said.
It's been a long time. Bike riding Brian Vaughn, what's happening? Been a long time since I bought a Michter's. Yeah, I haven't either. I don't know. I probably should because I think their shelfers are pretty good, but they're like 40, 45 bucks. And it's like, if I want to just keep that out around as a daily sipper, I just usually would go something a little bit, 97 proof, okay. Go with something like an Old Forester 100 for, half the price. So what's interesting about this one is the minute it hits your palate, it's like, it's a very rounded out mouthfeel in the sense that like, there's no sharp edges at all. And sometimes I kind of like a little bit of a sharp edge on a bourbon. This is a 6-grain bourbon, right? This is 55% corn, okay. I feel like this one is a little bit, it's a little bit flat. Like the flavors are great, but like the overall experience is just tiny bit flat. And maybe that's the proof. But at 97 proof, I don't know. Let me have a little more of this. Yeah, the flavors are fantastic on this thing. But this thing drinks like it drinks like, this one was 86 proof. And I feel like this one had a little bit more of an edge to it. So if you're looking for a smooth bourbon with a lot of flavor, 110% on this one. These flavors are excellent. Oh yeah, Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiast. Brian says, I'm assuming this is Brian, it usually is in the chat, my opponent in training. Whiskey House Pub House, what's happening? Hey, can a mod throw in a link for Whiskey House Pub House and Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiast and Bad Axe Bourbon and Northwest Bourbon? We've got some channels in the house. Whiskey House Pub House, fellow Minnesota channel, so go show them some love, throw them a sub, check out their content, they're doing a good job. Let's see, it's got a ton of flavor, agreed, but would be great at 107 proof instead of 97. I agree, because I feel like, I've had 90 proof bourbons that drink a little bit more bold than this. It's like, I feel like the proof is really hamstringing this one. But it shouldn't be hamstringing at 97 proof. That's what's kind of weird about it. But the flavors are great. This would be a great gift whiskey for somebody who's just getting into bourbon but wants to try something a little bit different or off profile, because the alcohol bite on this is not gonna be too aggressive, but the flavors are great. So it's like when you're shopping for a bourbon for like a newbie, you want to go low enough proof where they're not going to be overwhelmed by the ethanol, but you also want to get them something that has great flavor, and this is 100% that. Again, Burnt Church Distillery, Anita's Choice, 6-grain bourbon. This is just like chocolate chip cookie dough. I'm really, really getting those kind of notes off of here. Yeah, everybody, if you're not subscribed, please go throw a sub to those channels. Out there doing great stuff. And we YouTube people, we need the validation. That's why we're on here. All right. So we're moving on now to Wood Hat. And Piper John, if you don't mind, if you want to throw some extra info into the chat here as to anything about these products. Wood Hat Spirits, bourbon, Rubenesque, single barrel, bottled in bond, 6 years, 3 months. So a bottled in bond bourbon. Nothing weird about that. Northwest Bourbon, sub to Whiskey House Pub House. All right. Whiskey House Pub House. Is this Dylan that's in the chat? All right, let's get this open. I probably should have opened these before I hopped on here. And Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiast. All right. Yes, it is. All right. Good to see you in the chat, Dylan. Oh, I know a controversial thing. Beach Sand Bourbon with the super chat. Beach Sand Bourbon, I'm going to enter you into the sample drawing tonight, which I am ill prepared for, by the way. In the samples tonight, I do have some Russell's Reserve LLME. I'll throw a 2-ounce sample of that. Maybe a 2-ounce sample of the Paul Sutton Minnesota Vikings Ring of Honor. I gave away a 2-ounce sample of that last week as well. And then, I don't know, we'll come up with something for the third sample. But thank you very much for the super chat. That's awesome. Very, very much appreciate that. Okay, so here's a conversation to start a fight in the chat. I recently did a review of Woodford Double Oak, and it just reminded me because Whiskey House Pub House had one as well. Is Woodford Double Oak finished in 3 separate barrels, or is it just they leave it in the second barrel for longer? Because I did some research on this. I actually even reached out to Woodford about it, and they didn't get back to me. But a lot of people were commenting saying that that it's not in a third barrel. The double oak just means they put it in the secondary barrel and let it age a little bit longer, which if that's the case, then that bottle is an effing ripoff. Whiskey Joker, what's happening? Subbed. All right. Whiskey Joker. 4-Leaf Whiskey. Let's get a link out to for Stacy's channel. Cheers with your official Irish whiskey PSA. 19 days till St. Patrick's Day. That's right. Absolutely. Taylor, what's happening? Dylan, I was told it's just 2. Longer in the second. Okay. Here's what... I had somebody comment. I had a couple people mention it in the comments for that video. One person was particularly upset about it and was like, I don't know why people keep getting this wrong. We need to hold Woodford and whiskey tubers accountable for this false advertising. Let's see. The owner distiller is a character. They grow their own grain or source them very locally. It's true farm to glass. They season the oak with their barrels for extended time. Just watch the vid. Is that for... Watch the vid for what? Did I miss something, Piper John, or are you talking about this bourbon that I'm about to drink? Beach Sand Bourbon. Let's get a link out for Beach Sand Bourbon as well, if you mods don't mind doing the heavy lifting for me. Sugar Kitty with the $10 super chat. All right, you guys are like boosting my ego tonight because usually nobody participates in super chats for my drawings. Like they just end up being for the Patreon. Okay, well tell you what, Sugar Kitty, if you win it tonight, I'll let you sub out the Minnesota Vikings Ring of Honor bottle. Really, at the end of the day, it's just a Paul Sutton bottled in bond. But we can sub that out. I'm trying to think, because the problem is I haven't really bought any new bottles recently. I've got some samples here. And so I'm trying to think of, fun stuff to send out. But, I haven't bought any. I bought a Henry McKenna 10-year recently, if you want a sample of that, but I imagine all you guys already had that one. Okay, so anyway, let me throw this out there, because when this guy left this comment on the video, I actually, at first, was like, I looked at some of the information. Steven Scone, Shelf Sippers. Let's go subscribe to Shelf Sippers. Throw a link. I was inclined to agree with him. I looked at it again and I was like, man, that maybe I am wrong about this. So on the Woodford Reserve site, they give some kind of like murky explanation. So it says, our most indulgent double-barreled expression, this bourbon undergoes an extended slumber in a second custom-crafted barrel, deeply toasted and lightly charred. Now, regular Woodford Reserve goes into a second, or Woodford Reserve Double Oak goes into a second barrel, okay? So if you read that, it does kind of imply that it's going in there for an extended slumber. But then when you keep reading from the press release, hold on a second. Okay, from the press release, so that was on the website. And on the website, it does kind of make it sound like it's, again, just staying in the second barrel. From the press release, it says double oaked is handcrafted by finishing fully mature Woodford Reserve Double Oak bourbon for an additional 2 years in a second heavily toasted, lightly charred new oak barrel. Hence the name double oaked. Now, in order to make fully matured Woodford Reserve Double Oak, they put it in a regular charred oak barrel and then they put it into a second barrel that they say is heavily toasted, lightly charred. Now this is saying that they're taking a fully matured Woodford Double Oak, meaning it's already been in the second barrel. It says handcrafted by finishing fully matured Woodford Reserve Double Oak for an additional 2 years in a second heavily toasted, lightly charred new barrel. With Woodford Reserve, is it a second barrel that happens to be heavily toasted, lightly charred? Or is it the second heavily toasted, lightly charred barrel? The press release makes it sound like it's 3 barrels because you cannot have fully matured Woodford Reserve Double Oak without it already having been in a secondary barrel. And it says, again, Double Oak is handcrafted finishing fully matured Woodford Reserve Double Oak bourbon for an additional 2 years in a second heavily toasted, lightly charred new oak barrel. Hence the name Double Oak. So, what do we have, folks? Let's see what the general consensus on this is. Double barrels, double the time. Oh, why is this not working? I thought it was 3 barrels too. Okay, it's just about... I was just about to say what the website says. Yeah. Double Oak is the brand's double oak bourbon that is finished for approximately twice the amount of time in secondary oak. Okay, but so Brian... But the implication is the brand's double oaked bourbon, but it says it takes matured double oak bourbon and then finishes that. It says it's finishing double oak bourbon in a second charred and toasted barrel. So, I don't know. It sounds an awful lot like, to me, just 2 barrels per breaking bourbon. But I got that press release off of Breaking Bourbon and from Woodford. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just, if Woodford Reserve Double Oak does not go into a second finishing, like a third barrel, then that whiskey can F right off. It's good, but $200, I mean, $200 is already ridiculous for it, in my opinion. It sounds like it's a double oak bourbon further finished in another barrel. Exactly. So did you like it? Yes, I did, Brian. I actually liked it quite a bit. I said I really liked it. I thought it was a great bourbon, but I wouldn't rush out and buy it for the price. And I was actually planning on making a video about this, but I got to tell you, I am pretty much done with anything that comes in this bottle. These things are just ridiculous. Every expression they put out in this bottle is super expensive. You know, the batch proof ones are really good, but it's, at the end of the day, it's just cask strength Woodford Reserve. Like, why does that cost $150 or $130 or whatever it is? I like the 3 Woodford Reserve Double Oak bottles better in a blind. Just the regular ones. Well, yeah, again, and if it is only in a second barrel and it's just in there for longer, then yeah, then it's definitely a money grab for sure. All right, let's get into this wood hat. Anyway, I don't understand why Woodford Reserve, one of the biggest brands in the world, can't put out a cask strength version of their bourbon for $60 to $70 like everybody else. Whiskey House Pub House with the super chat. Damn, you guys are being generous tonight. Let's see, Ben Haskell's has a store pick of RD1 maple bottle and Amberana. I got the maple and holy smokes, definitely recommend. All right, sweet. I would definitely like to get one of those. I have a store pick that's awesome and crushed it. Okay. All right, so Whiskey House Pub House, you're going to be in the drawing as well, in the sample drawing. Let me write this down real quick. Just so I can remember. The super chats. Okay, I just don't want to forget anybody in the drawing. Let's see, I'll have you know it took me 5 minutes in to find that super chat button. I don't know if I can do anything to place the super chat button. That sucks. But I appreciate you putting the effort in. All right, so this is Filibuster Triple Cask. No, this is the Wood Hat. Sorry, I moved that around. Wood Hat Spirits, bottled in bond, 6 years, 3 months. Woohoo! Oh my God. That one, for this one being 97 proof and this one being 100, this is like drinking an 86 proof and like a 115 proof. What's up, Ryan Frank? Good to see you. That is amazing to me that 3 proof points different. So I don't know what's going on with this 6-grain bourbon. The flavors are amazing, but it drinks so muted in proof. And I know proof doesn't add flavor, but it does add experience. And I like that, you know, a little bit extra kind of kick in the teeth from the proof. Man, this Wood Hat Spirits, this is something else. I don't even know, excuse me, how to describe this one. A nice oak note, but there's like I'm not noticing really like the standard kind of caramels and vanillas and brown sugars. Wood Hat Spirits, I've never heard of that. Can somebody, John, if you're still in the chat, if you've got some information on Wood Hat Spirits. But it's all heat. There's like this incredible heat, and it's not like cinnamon, but it's like, I don't know. It's almost like a non-flavored heat that just goes on top of like a nice oaky bourbon. But yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I like it. I think it's really good, actually. This is one that I don't know what to tell you. I think this is one that I would really need to sit with a little bit and kind of pick apart, which I will definitely enjoy doing. But yeah, it's definitely unique. It's not like off profile and weird. It's just I don't know what. John, did you have the same kind of experience with this one? Like, I don't really know how to describe it, but it just has nice flavor and it's got a nice heat, and it's almost like, if you ask me what the flavor notes are, I would say the flavor note is Wood Hat bourbon. Like, it's just like its own thing. I don't know. I'm not really picking apart a lot of the, different, like, kind of standard bourbon notes. But it's good. I definitely dig it. John, how much does a bottle of something like this cost? And do you know where Wood Hat Spirits is? I don't know that I've ever... Let me look that up, too, real quick. Let me hop on here and see if I've ever seen Wood Hat. I'm just going to look up the picture of the bottle. I know it makes for riveting content when I'm typing away here looking for... Wood Hat Spirits... All that's coming up is, here we go. Bourbon, Wood Hat Spirits, WHO8. Oh, do they have the Corbin Cash style bottle? Wood Hat Orange, what? Missouri Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and it has an ear of corn on it. Let me see if I can, let me present this, share the screen. Okay. I'm just doing a little info here. Or a little, getting a little info, I should say. I wonder if I can play this. I'm not getting any sound.
Gary Heimgartner would have spirits talking about corn for bourbon. You know, bourbon has to be 51% corn. But it doesn't say what kind of corn. And all the corn we use for bourbon in this country was developed for some other reason, not for bourbon. Maybe it's developed because it yielded more, maybe it's because you could use this as special herbicide to kill weeds, maybe it's because when insects eat it, they just die. But nobody creates a corn just for bourbon, except Woodhat Spirits has done it. It's WA.
Well, now I'm just interested in this.
Tastes good.
Okay. Well, apparently they create their
non-GMO.
own corn for their bourbon. I didn't watch the whole thing there, but yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Just had to. He developed a bourbon corn. Yeah, apparently. Half the audience bailed out when I started learning about corn, probably. All right, filibuster triple cask straight bourbon finished in apple brandy barrels. John, I am going to need some information on this because it says triple cask. Tripping. What does that mean? I don't know. It says filibuster triple cask, but it says finished in apple brandy barrels. It just says the one barrel. So is this a Woodford Reserve double oak situation? Where it's not actually in 3 casks, but it heavily implies that it is? Okay. Pour in small pours of this because, again, it's a school night. Oh, was there an echo? I'm sorry. There wasn't one on my end, so I probably... Okay. Yeah, so that probably sounded terrible on your part. I'm sorry about that. It wasn't doing that on my end. It was a heavy echo, and I thought, okay. Well, won't be doing that again. I've never shared a video screen or a YouTube thing before during a live stream. So it's a blend of MGP 1 cask and their own whiskey, 2nd barrel. And the blend is finished in ample brandy cask, 93rd barrel. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Interesting. Bruzel did a video on Woodhat that went into lots of detail. Cool operation they have going. Okay. Check that out. Got a great nose on this. It's yeah, you can kind of get that apple note. It's almost got like an apple cinnamon note, like an apple pie. Some really, really nice caramel notes. Little nutty. Oh yeah, that's just got a fantastic nose on it. Let's get into the palate. Cheers. Oh, that's really good. That's kind of a desserty sort of bourbon. Triple cask straight bourbon. John, is this a hard one to find? So I would definitely be interested in exploring some more of these products. Oh yeah, it's got just the right amount of proof, just the right amount of heat. The heat coming off of this Woodhat is damn near on the level of this 115 proof banger. Yeah, it is very sweet. It's nice and desserty. I like a good sweet bourbon. I guess there's not a whole lot of bourbon profiles I don't like, but I really do like a nice good sweet bourbon. All those nice brown sugar notes and caramel and... Man, now it just keeps bringing me back to this burnt church one now. Because this thing was just like chocolate chip cookie dough all day long. But for some reason it just came across as like an 86 proofer or an 80 proofer. And I don't get it. But it is damn good. Burnt Church. I'm going to start looking into that. I honestly am going to look into all these because, John, thank you so much for these samples. These were all really, really good. Yeah, that's really good. The apple brandy finish is single barrel store pick. I do believe you can get the other triple cast off their website. Okay. Is it me or is there like a filibuster label that's just like a tall bottle with just a green label and like yellow or gold writing? Like I can picture this in my head. But every once in a while I'll hear a brand and I'll think, well, yeah, I've seen that before, and then I'll attach the name of that brand to some random bottle I've seen that's completely wrong. So I don't know. Don't quote me on that. All right. So where did we land on the Woodford Double Double? I think I didn't really take a count as to how many people say it's finished in a third cask or it's just finished extra time in a second cask. And these bastards at Woodford Reserve have not gotten back to me about this. It'd be hilarious if I opened up my email and there it was. Yeah, nothing. I sent them a message. I don't know. I have a filibuster pick, but I don't recall the bottle. I like the apple brandy finish. You guys have any recommendations on any other apple brandy finish bourbons? Because I feel like that's one I've seen before, but I don't know if I don't think I've ever owned a bottle of anything that was apple brandy finished. So, hang on 1 second here. Actually, no. Oh, the other thing, you know what? I have these three bottles, which are, I'll move these Jim Beam Harvest Collection bottles from like, I don't know what year these came out. They're a long time ago. I mean, relatively speaking, like, I don't know. Anyway, these are all actually pretty cool because they're all 90 proof, but they're 11-year age stated, all three of them. And one of them's a soft red wheat. One of them is a rolled oat bourbon, secondary grain, of course, obviously. And then the third one is a brown rice. Would these make a cool sample pack giveaway? Like, would you guys be interested in these? Biking Bourbon, what's happening? Copper and King is the only apple brandy finished bourbon I can think of. Okay. See, Copper and King, now I'm picturing that label in my head. And I'm probably completely wrong about it. But yeah, so I've been thinking about like doing a video of doing like a flight of all three of these. Greg and I reviewed them. I'm looking up Copper and King now. We did an individual review of each one of them. They're interesting for sure. Yeah, Copper and King, I was wrong about that one too. I don't think I've seen that. See, I have a Found North store pick finished in apple brandy that is a butterscotch bomb. Oh, nice. We will be going to Watershed from a pick and May sample and apple brandy finished barrel. Nice, that's awesome. So anyway, let me know in the comments if this would be a cool sample pack, the three of these, just because they're dusties that you can't buy anymore. They're only 90 proof, but again, they're 11-year age stated. And they're, they're weird Jim Beam expressions. So one of these nights, maybe I'll do a live stream and do like a full tasting of all three of these and then give those away in a sample. So tonight's sample pack. Let's get, anybody who wins the samples, by the way, if it's something you already have, you can certainly just let me know. And I need a third bourbon for this, or a third whiskey. What do we have here? What would be a good one to throw in for the sample pack? I think ADHD had an apple brandy finish pick a while back. Okay, nice. So there are some apple brandy picks out there. How about let's see. I know this is making for riveting content. Let me get, where is that bottle? All right, how about one of these? Troy from Baker Drinks, what's happening? Happy hump day. So this is a 10-year age-stated Elijah Craig single barrel barrel proof store pick. 126.1. So we'll throw that in with the sampling too. So these 3 bottles will go out for the sampling. Let's see. John, I have a sample of that from Troy and Laura. I believe it was Nulu. Oh, they're talking about you. Okay. So anyway, folks, speaking of Baker Drinks, this Saturday on their live stream over on their channel, I will be taking part in the Trash Palette Challenge with worthy opponents, Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiasts. So, Brian and Deb, it's going to be, it'll be fun to actually, we've obviously chatted back and forth in each other's videos, in the chat and in the comments and stuff, but it'll be nice to actually, meet you guys and get to chat with you a little bit. And anytime I am on with Troy and Laura in any capacity, I am a happy guy because I love being on live streams with those two. So, check that out this Saturday at 8 o'clock Central, right? Troy, you want to throw that in there? We're not worthy. I think we are not worthy to be on Baker Drinks, to be honest, because their Baker Drinks live stream game is strong. They are crushing the market with their Saturday night live streams, and it's awesome to see. So yeah, super looking forward to being on that with Brian and Deb and Troy and Laura. So yeah, Troy, can you throw in the chat here? Is it 8 p.m. Central, right? You guys, or wait, no, is it late? I'm getting this confused now. 6 p.m. Yes, okay, so 8 p.m. Central. Okay, gotcha. Steven Scone in the house still. Good to see you still here. You better not have Woodinville in that sample pack. I just had a Woodinville, I think. And I don't know where I got it. It might have actually been from Troy and Laura. I can't remember. I have so many samples here that I've got this much left in a sample because whenever I get samples of stuff that I can't get my hands on or maybe don't want to go and buy a full bottle for a video, as soon as I kill that sample, inevitably the week later I need a sample of that for some video idea I have. So, I'll have some sample, say it's 10 years old. And then I crush the sample and then I end up buying a couple of 10-year bourbons oh, I should do a 10-year flight. And then it's oh God, I could have used that. I'm saying that because I have a 10-year bourbon battle video coming up. I haven't filmed it yet, but I'm planning on it. Buffalo Bourbon it's all Woodinville. So I haven't had any Woodinville's basic products, but I think the ones I've had I like. They were kind of, I know I had a cast strength rye, I think, from Troy and Laura, if I remember correctly. Bourbon Boner. Just, that's a new name to the chat. Never seen Bourbon Boner in the house, but welcome. Let's see, are you giving a giveaway tonight? If so, what do we need to do to get in the mix? Yeah, I'm giving away a sample of the Russell's Reserve. This is the LLME that everyone's talking about that has some of the bottling from the barrels from the... they're not 15-year barrels, but they're barrels from the same bottling time or whatever as the Russell's 15. Apparently they're special barrels, even according to Bruce Russell. I've got Paul Sutton bottled in bond. This is the Minnesota Vikings Ring of Honor bottle, but it's really just Paul Sutton bottled in bond. It's not going to taste any different than just because it's a Vikings bottle. And then I've got an Elijah Craig single barrel store pick, private barrel, 10-year, age stated 128.1 proof. A lot of people say they like these better than the batch ones. So yeah, if you want to get in on the raffle, you can either join the Patreon. If you do, let me know in the chat, or a $5 super chat will get you an entry into the raffle. One entry per $5. But here's my Patreon pitch, you guys. If you're interested, I'm trying to build up the Patreon. if you join the Patreon, at every single tier, you get a certain amount of entries into every drawing I do. I do a couple drawings a month. So it's a better deal than doing a super chat, just saying. So if you're on the $5 level on Patreon, it's worth 2 entries to every drawing. You get the videos early. There's like 40, 50 bonus videos on there. I actually started tonight. I put out a little kind of a poll asking my Patreon subscribers about uploading the videos directly to Patreon versus uploading them to YouTube and then putting a link on Patreon. So I'm going to start uploading them on Patreon directly. That way, if you don't have a YouTube Premium, you can watch the videos ad-free. So if you don't like watching ads on my videos, you get them ad-free and you get them a day early. So, all right. Bourbon Drop, Myron is in the house. What's happening? Appreciate you being here. Go subscribe to Bourbon Drop for sure. Subscribe to the Whiskey 6 while you're at it. Let me, before we get out of here and go on with the drawing, let me get the screen overlay for... Why can I never find this damn thing? There we go. At the Whiskey 6. All right. So if you want to see 2 live streams a month with yours truly, Bourbon Drop, Bad Axe Bourbon, Bourbon School, Sean from Whiskey Wars / Mash and Metal, and then a special guest, go subscribe. It's at the Whiskey 6 on YouTube. If you just put in Whiskey 6 in the search, you'll get a bunch of other stuff. It's not a big enough channel that it'll show up. But yeah, go to at the Whiskey 6. I think the next one is going to be on March 13th. I will not be around for that one. But yeah, so we're doing these twice a month. It's a lot of fun. We talk about whiskey, and then we pick topics that are related to whiskey, and then we each get to pick, like, do a rapid fire question about something totally non-related to whiskey. We don't each do one per episode, but we kind of go, circle through, and then we pick a couple of non-whiskey related topics, and it always ends up being a really fun time. So go subscribe to at the Whiskey 6 if you're interested in that. Oh, you guys want to see something hilarious? Or at least I thought it was hilarious. I got a notification. I took this picture. Hold on. I don't know if you can see what that says. This is my notification when I was getting my live stream set up. This is probably 2 months ago, and I keep forgetting to share this. It says, it's giving me a little warning that in 27,448 days, StreamYard will lose access to your YouTube account. Don't worry, we've got you covered. Click here to reconnect your destination. So you have to link your YouTube account to StreamYard in order to stream through StreamYard and have it broadcast on YouTube the way that it is. And a lot of times you'll get a notification that says, mine is connected to my Facebook too. We'll lose connection to your Facebook in 2 weeks. Please make sure to refresh your thing. This one in 27,448 days. Divided by 365, that's 75 years from now. So in 75 years, my StreamYard is going to disconnect from my YouTube. So I'm glad that they told me that because, Did you hear about the landslide at Buffalo Trace? No, but I'm guessing that's going to be the next E.H. Taylor blend. It's the landslide survival barrels. All right, folks. Thank you guys so much to all of you that threw some super chats out here. I really appreciate it. That helps a ton. All the Patreon subscribers, thank you so much for your support. It really does make a difference. So if you guys are interested, go check out the Patreon. I have to do one thing real quick here. Well, I'm just going to leave all these names in, but Steven Scone and David Williams won last time, so they're not eligible for this one because you can only win. You can't have one for the previous 2. So let me just do this real quick. All right, just got to get the drawing set up. And if you do happen to win, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you also can pay your samples forward. We'd have people done that. We've had people do that before. Did going into the river improve the flavor? Not a fan of Buffalo Trace stuff, or is that just E.H. Taylor in particular? Control A. All right, now I just have to add on the folks who did super chats tonight. I'm just going to abbreviate these so I can get these done quicker. All right. All right, we got it, folks. Sorry about that little delay. Had to get the get all the folks added here who participated. All right, let me share the screen here and we'll find out who's going to be the winner. All right, here we go, everybody. Let's shuffle these around a little bit. And bam, see who we got. Look at that! Beach Sand Bourbon with the $5 super chat tonight is the winner. All right, Beach Sand Bourbon, that's awesome. Congratulations. Why don't you shoot me an email at thebourbonnote@gmail.com and let me know where to send these, and B, let me know if you already have one of these. I'll replace it with something else. But just to reiterate, this is the Russell's Reserve. This is the LLME, the one everyone's talking about. It is damn good. I haven't compared it to a regular Russell's yet. This is a Paul Sutton Bottled and Bond. It does happen to be a Minnesota Vikings Ring of Honor. I know living in Michigan and being part of the NFC North, you may not want to bring a Minnesota Vikings product into your home. But at the end of the day, it's really just Paul Sutton, Bottled and Bond. You're welcome. And go subscribe to Beach Sand Bourbon as well. And then this is a local store pick of an Elijah Craig single barrel, 10-year age stated, 126.1 proof. And it's a good one. Nice and oaky on this one. And it's a little nutty too. So, all right, sweet. Well, originally from Texas, okay. Is that the only ring the Vikings? Jeez. All right, I'll give you that. At this point, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. But yes, you are correct about that, Stephen. That's unfortunately. So yeah, shoot me an email at thebourbonnote@gmail.com. Let me know where to send these. Go subscribe to Beach Sand Bourbon, Shelf Sippers, Whiskey House Pub House, Bourbon Drop, Baker Drinks, Bad Axe Bourbon. Who else was in here up at the beginning? Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiast. Was just talking to them. Who am I missing here? Four Leaf Whiskey. Scroll back through the chat and there's links to all these great channels. Northwest Bourbon. Go check out Northwest Bourbon. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys very, very much for joining me tonight. This was a lot of fun. And thank you very much for the super chats to get into the drawing. And look at that, folks. Beach Sand Bourbon with the $5 super chat, one entry, and they come slamming home with the win. That's awesome. So anyway, yeah, check out tomorrow's video. It's going to be Henry McKenna 10-year Bottled and Bond. I'm doing reviews of 10-year bourbons because I'm planning on doing a 10-year Bourbon Banger blind battle. But yeah, so I revisited the Henry McKenna 10-year and kind of reopened the conversation about why people feel the way they feel about that bottle. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys very, very much. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.